So all we need to change a dynamic is one thing. It is one thing. I'm Heather Grzych, and this is the Wisdom of the Body podcast. This podcast explores the idea of body intelligence as the real key to learning the knowledge of life, or what we call Ayurveda in the ancient language of Sanskrit. We do that by connecting with today's creative leaders and experts who will help you listen to your body, trust your gut, and live in deeper harmony with nature. Come join me as we unlock the golden door to clear, direct perception and become very deep listeners. You can find the Wisdom of the Body podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Stitcher. You can also follow us by joining my email at heathergrzych.com or on Instagram at heathergrzych. I know you're going to love this podcast, so take a second right now to subscribe. Today, we're going to talk about why you're doing such a good job. I had a friend reach out to me via email. She got my newsletter, and it was somebody I hadn't spoken with for a long time. And she was like, "Hey, I see you. I know it's hard being an entrepreneur, and I see you. And, I just want to let you know I see you." And I was like, whoa. Because barely anybody ever writes back to my emails. It's really funny. But I also don't really view myself as an entrepreneur, which I thought was funny. I kind of always just view myself as a writer who has a business. And it made me realize how important it was to have that feedback, how important it was to hear from someone that they saw me. And that's bizarre. I don't think that goes away. You write a book, you put it in the world, you take a picture of yourself, you put it on social media. There's, all kinds of approvals that we seem to want in the world. But as I thought about this more, I realized, I couldn't remember the last time someone told me that I was doing a good job. I wonder if other people feel that way too. I wonder if other people feel like no one's telling them that they did a good job, or that someone sees them, or that someone recognizes them. I know this doesn't matter at all to some people. They're not motivated by this at all, but to others, it really, really, really does. We want to feel at least like what we're doing matters. We want to feel like what we're doing is being recognized, that it's for something, that it's manifesting in some way. And it's helpful when we're trying to make changes in our lives, especially because that act of making the changes is really hard. It sometimes feels like we're Sisyphus and we're pushing a boulder up a hill, and it gets heavy at times and it gets frustrating, and we want to give up and we want to sit down and we just want to throw in the towel. It can feel like it's taking forever. We can feel impatient, disheartened, and it can make us question whether what we're doing is actually worth it. Like something else could just be easier, And so today we're going to talk a little bit about your nature, or what we say, like the Sanskrit word for this is prakriti. So your nature, your essence, your base nature. And then you have this thing called the deha prakriti, which a lot of people don't talk about, but this is your nature, which involves your kind of combination of doshas. This is like when the egg and the sperm came together. This was what created your blueprint, your mix of vata, pitta, kapha, what makes you like have a little bit different body than the person next to you. You could say it's what sort of encoded your genes. So you have this nature, and then you have this kind of physical structure and makeup that was based on this subtle essence. And then you have this thing called the vikruti, which is that part of you, which the state that you're in where there's imbalance, when you're not within that original sort of blueprint makeup that makes you you. And so We feel that whenever our bodies get off. We feel that vikruti, we feel that present state of imbalance whenever our bodies get off. Sometimes when our minds get off, we feel that. And this gets influenced by our behaviors. It gets influenced by our choices. It gets influenced by our psychology. It gets influenced by our health history. It gets influenced by our environment. Because our lives are like this constant push-pull of the things that we're doing and the things that are happening to us from the outside. And both affect us. The things that we do matter, and the things that happen outside of us matter. And some people want to say everything I do matters and nothing outside can affect me, and that's not true. And others will say that I can't control anything. The world is responsible for the way I am. And that's not true either. And others may say the past is responsible for how I am. And that's not true. All of these things are influencing, but they're not the only thing that is influencing. So, first of all, I hope you're not beating yourself up. I hope there's nothing that you've been beating yourself up on, but maybe there is. So I hope you're not beating yourself up, but maybe you have been on something, or maybe you feel like you want to beat the world up. There's some discord inside. And I think in these moments, it's helpful to recognize all the different factors that are influencing us. So recognizing that our life is a convergence of the things that have happened in the past, the visions for the future, the present state of being, the choices that we make right now, the happenings in the environment around us, the conditions, the structures, all of the things that are there in the environment, the people, the movements. And that all comes together to create a situation where sometimes we might beat ourselves up because we aren't where we want to be. And then we think, okay, well, it's my fault that I'm not there. Or it's something else's fault that we aren't there. But sometimes what happens is if we get one new input, one new variable, changing the scenario, changing the situation, changing the mix, the dynamic, sometimes everything changes. Sometimes everything changes. One thing someone says to you, one person who enters your life, one decision of leaving a place at a certain time versus a different time, one idea that pops up out of the blue. So all we need to change a dynamic is one thing. It is one thing. Changes the whole dynamic. So just take a moment here to recognize. So what is it that you feel has been going well? What's been going well? What do you feel like you've been doing a good job on? What do you feel like you've been doing a good job on? And good job is kind of whatever you are gauging to be a good job, right? Not that something else has set that for you. And then what do you feel like maybe you're not giving the attention that you want? What feels like maybe something that you might feel, not really giving that what I wanted to give it, or I could give some more attention there. And then really ask yourself, do you really want that? And it may be that you want it, but it may be that you want something else more. Because oftentimes we make, decisions based on priorities, right? So maybe there's something else that's being prioritized more. And even that's fine. Even if that's happening, to say like, I'm still doing a good job because of that. Because you have a reason that you're doing it. You have a reason. You're always doing a good job. You're always doing a good job. I think everybody else is too. Everybody else is as well. Like, I really do believe that everybody's doing the best that they can, but we do change when we have different influences. We do change. And sometimes that change can lead us somewhere better, Or sometimes that change can lead us somewhere worse, or somewhere that change can lead us somewhere that we've been wanting to go. We do change. So take a moment here. Just say to yourself, I'm doing a good job. I'm doing a really friggin' good job. Like, I'm doing so well. I'm doing the best I can. I'm proud of myself. I look forward to see, the things I do in the future, but I am so proud of myself for where I'm at. I'm so proud of myself for the way that I've been caring for myself, for the way I've been operating in my environment. I've been doing a good job. I've been doing a really amazing job. Just so amazing. And I recognize this. And I appreciate this. And I have gratitude for myself. I do. I recognize myself. I do. I recognize myself. Go ahead and sit here, wherever you're feeling this in your body. Sit in this space. Where do you feel that in your body? How does that feel to tell yourself that? How does that feel? How does that feel to be told you're doing an incredible job? Just so amazing. So amazing. Take a couple of breaths there. Take a couple of breaths there. So I'm hoping that you can pass this on today. Hoping you can pass this on. Encourage someone else to recognize that they're doing a good job. Pass it on. See what happens. If you are embarking on a fertility journey and are ready to have your mind blown about what your body is really capable of and how it's impacted by the environment, then check out my book, The Ayurvedic Guide to Fertility. You can actually download the introduction to the book for free on my website at heathergrzych.com. That's Heather, Grzych.com. Read the intro for free and then buy the rest of this fertility enlightening book pretty much anywhere books are sold. I want to thank you for listening to this show. It brings me great pleasure to provide this content to you. I also want to let you know that I'll be making some very amazing announcements soon. And if you're not already on my email list, then I encourage you to go over to my website and subscribe to my email list, so that I can keep you informed about these announcements that are going to be coming up very soon. So my website is heathergrzych.com. That's Heather, Grzych.com. And I look forward to getting these important announcements to you very soon and connecting.